Yes, I think that Africa needs to redefine its role in the continent. I mean, especially in light of Pan Africanism. And the first thing I would like to talk about is that uh, Africa needs to actually promote the economic integration and cooperation through frameworks like the Continental Free Trade. It is very, very important. You understand that this can reduce trade barriers and increase economic independence, interdependence of African states. This is one of the things that, if it is done in Africa, I have hopes that we'll be writing a new book for Africa that is going to set the pace. Giving countries more stake in maintaining peace relations is very, very important. Another way is that of strengthening the economic groupings like the ECOWAS, the CEMAC, the SADC, the EAC, and all of those, because we can facilitate dialogue and collective problem solving among member states when we strengthen them, when we actually strengthen them and make them know that they are powerful regional groupings. We can be able now to empower them to solve regional problems. When countries come together, they are more likely to resolve disputes very, very peacefully. And it's very, very important for Africa to do this. Now, like we're talking about Pan-Africanism, Pan-Africans should emphasize more on African solutions to Africans' problems. It's very, very important. Let us produce what we consume. It is very, very important that we emphasize on Africa's solutions to Africa's problem. Don't go bringing solutions to problems of Europe. Don't go bringing solutions to problems of Africa. The initiatives like the African Union's peace and security architecture can help mediate conflict. It's very, very important, because one of the problems we have in our continent is that of conflict. We can prevent escalation by actually strengthening this security wing of the African Union. So the AU's mediation efforts in countries like in Sudan, in South Sudan, and all of those are examples, of course, of this action, whereby if we emphasize more on African solutions to African problems through the initiative of the African Union's peace and security architecture. It is very important that we look at ourselves on the mirror and we ask ourselves, what do we really need? I was giving an example of producing things that we do not consume, because this is one of the things that has kept Africans poor. Why do you endeavor more on producing things that you only export? Africa will grow more individually as countries and collectively when we produce things that our own people consume. The economy will grow. And when we strengthen our regional groupings, when we, have a free trade zone, economic zone, where we can make freely trade with each and every country, this will be strengthening the African continent. And I think that these are some of the things that Pan-Africanism should be able to engulf now. And this is the concept I talk about economic, because the world is now in a global village. We are talking about what you can bring to the world. And I think that he who has the economy has the identity, because it is no need talking again about the issue of identity, where identity is this that are gone over and has come down. No, once you have the economy, you have the identity respected. Who would dare disrespect America? Because they have their identity. Our culture already, we need to promote that culture through the languages that we have. Do you know that France has ever grown to where it is today because of the language where they have through that their economic this thing, how is it called? France has the language policy, of course, that they are promoted. Britain has the Commonwealth, of course, and they have grown through the promotion of languages. If we tell those who want to do business with us in Africa, we'll tell them that we promote our languages, and if they are coming to Africa to do business, either they employ interpreters or they learn our languages. This will be promoting the languages that we have. It is very important. We neglect some of these things, but these are very, very important things. A language is an industry that we need to do. We need to monetize it. We need to monetize our culture as a whole. These are some of the things that we're looking at. Because when we keep talking about how black is beautiful, how does that put food on the table? We have to shift from all those things. We have already gained independence. We have self-rule now. At least they have recognized that we are a people. They have recognized that we are black people. They have recognized that we are colored people, and all of those. Now we have to shift. We have to move with the moving trends. And now the moving trend of the world today is the West brought capitalism. We will remain our own communitarism. No, we have to be sure that we have something also to put at a higher level whereby they look at us and respect us. Given to the fact that most of the things that we have are the mineral resources that the world is in need of is from Africa. Don't you think that we can call the shots? We can call the shots. And this is what the Pan-Africanism should be all about. It's not going around creating empty offices and telling people how you celebrate the African culture. And you even know that even those who celebrate the African culture, they do not live in the African continent. Most of them live in Europe or America. And they only come to Africa once in a while to celebrate that culture. What is the celebration of culture for? You know, we need to make this culture be something that is economically yielding. We need to monetize it and make sure that we are at the same level. We can be able, you know, to compete at the global stage. That is it about Pan-Africanism.
Absolutely.
I think that one of the things that we should look at the African Union. I see that the African Union is being sponsored by an invisible hand. Because one of the things is, as I said, you cannot claim to have real power if you do not have the economy, especially the economic power. Because the African Union, even its headquarters, I understand, partly built by China. And you find that the African Union is barely surviving. It doesn't have a reinforcing power because the financing is not there. So I think the African Union to be strong and also to deter this manipulation from the other continents or other countries in Europe or America. I think one of the things they should do, the African Union should empower itself and to make sure that in issues of conflict resolution, they are up to date, that they are able to sponsor, and that they do not depend on Europe, on sponsorship from abroad. Because what I really understand is that the African Union cannot talk with a strong voice because it is lagging behind. It is lacking in a lot of issues, and there is no financial participation coming from the individual countries. You see, the African Union has become, like the Europa, the Champions League that is stronger than the Europa. Of course, you find regional championship that are stronger than the continental, which is not good. It is not good for the African Union, where you find countries perhaps that are even stronger than the whole African Union itself, and the African Union cannot intervene in certain issues in these countries. It is very important because if the African Union had its say, a country like NATO as an organization and other France and America, assisted by America, will not come and bombard Libya. They will not threaten other countries under the watchful eyes of the African Union. I think this is the issue. And many people keep blaming them, but I understand their problem. The problem is that they are lacking in financing. Look at even the conflict that we have all around. African Union is not able to keep peace around the places because they cannot sponsor. So it is very important. Meanwhile, we blame one or two, whoever, for the deficiencies that we have had in all of these. I think that we should be able to address this issue. We also have the African intelligentsia. What are they doing? Many of them, there's brain drain. Many of them are in Europe, America, and they keep on blaming Africa. And we ask ourselves, because Africans are performing very well in Europe, America, but when it comes to African issues, they are so lukewarm about them. How can we start giving back to this African continent? And I know that to give back to African continent, the environment needs to be enabling. This is very important. And that I recognize as a researcher, that I know that the environment needs to be very, very enabling. Because, Africans are very intelligent. Africans have gone to school. Africans are able to create. They are able to innovate. But then we need that environment. And I think that with the youth that are coming up today, because the world is changing today due to the aspiration of the youth, due to the zeal of the youth, due to the zest of the youth. That zeal to be able to see things change from one tool to another. And I think that the African youth need to take their responsibility and not only depend on their government. One of the things that we are neglecting so much is the potential that we have on our soil and agriculture. And many Africans, they think that agriculture is for the lower people. Not knowing that it is agriculture that feeds the world. It is very important for us to understand that. And that Countries need to invest more on some of these things. Don't look at youth who only come, apply for jobs in civil service. We also have youth who should be independent. You should be go to the private sector, create, innovate, and also show proof of things. I know a lot of things are going on in Africa, and I think that if we actually invest in these youth, then we are going to have to be able to get into the competitive world.
Absolutely.